मैं मंच पर आमंत्रित करना चाहूँगी CEO वेबकुल श्री विनय यादव जी को। एक ज़ोरदार तालियों के साथ देवी और सज्जनों एक ज़ोरदार तालियां हो जाए श्री विनय यादव जी के लिए। वेलकम सर।
First of all, thanks Assocham for giving me this opportunity, for giving me a platform to interact with such eminent persons, especially from MSME domains. I am Vinay Yadav, one of the co-founder of Webkul. We started Webkul in 2010, and only at that time we are only 3 people from a very small room, and now we are a team of 700 employees, and we have more than 2,000, 3,000 plugins in the e-commerce and ERP domain. So basically, Webkul is a software company deal in the both products and services for the e-commerce and ERP domain, and we started with just a simple idea that there's a very common gap at 2010 that most of the e-commerce and ERP companies and softwares are built on top of pre-built frameworks like Shopify, Magento, PrestaShop, Odoo, WordPress, WooCommerce, lots of them. So we figure out that no one is building from scratch. They are using this kind of platform. So we started building our small product on top of this platform. Like by default, there is no auction platform. So we build auction plugin on top of these platforms. So this is how we started with start building, and initially we are only product only company. Then we scale up, and then we figure out that in B2B domain, you need to do you should do services as well, because services where lots of employment is getting created. So we added services, and now we are both. We are product and service company, and 90% of our revenue is come from overseas. So let's start with the topic, that the local to global. And first of all, very common thing, why export? I know everyone understand why export, but I just want to convey this into a simpler way, that we all know that still we are deficit because we have more import than the export. And for the import part, lots of cannot do anything because we cannot create oil or lots of dependencies we have. But for the export, we can do that. So this negative thing, we can balance it out, or we can make it positive if we kind of do a commitment that, okay, we all of us which are doing domestic, we will try to add a export part as well. So for export, we can understand that like in a family, when we are doing domestic, it's like we are circulating our own money, and like in a family that we are circulating our own money. So okay, domestic business is also very important because economy is a complex topic, but in a simpler term, that we are circulating money within ourselves, but when we do export, we are actually creating wealth from outside. So whenever we see a problem, we need to figure out what is the solution. So we can, and there's a many problem which we can't solve, and we cannot solve it completely, but we can contribute. So in this deficit, the import versus export deficit, what we can all do, we can try to at least a promise that, okay, we'll do some export. With our domestic thing, we will do some export. So we need to think it like that. Now, there's one very important thing I'd like to convey here, that whenever we are thinking about the export, we should not market ourselves as a cheaper alternative of anything. This is very important thing which we all need to keep in mind. We should not project ourselves as, okay, we can provide this cheaper than that. So this is a very unsustainable way to do export, and we can learn this from the China, because ultimately if you are projecting yourself as a cheaper alternative, it is not sustainable, because ultimately if you do lots of export, your per capita income will increase, and the USP of the cheaper labor will go away. That is exactly happening in the China, that now China is not very cheaper, so that business is going towards the Vietnam and other smaller countries. So we need to make this commitment from right now, that okay, we will not project ourselves as a cheaper alternative, but we will project ourselves as a better alternative in a good cost. We can justify the cost in a way that, okay, we are not very capitalistic mindset company. We are not looking for very high margin. India is known for their guru and sant kind of thing. So we can use that as our defense for the good prices. We should not, it is very important, our narration from the government, from us, everyone who is a part of this ecosystem should not say, okay, we can provide this cheaper. And that exactly what we did in Webkul. I can say with very arguably that Webkul is not successful because it's providing cheaper. Webkul is successful because our products are kind of unique in the market. Still, we are defending ourselves on the quality, not on the cost. I can share one example. We started in 2010 and we built a plugin called Multi-Vendor Marketplace. So what Multi-Vendor Marketplace do that we have lots of e-commerce platform, but there is no platform for building a marketplace. Means if you want to start e-commerce is a solved problem. You can start it very easily using Shopify and lots of other platforms are there. But if you want to run a Amazon kind of marketplace, it is a very difficult. At that time, it was like impossible. So we built marketplace plugin on top of every open source like Magento and PrestaShop, Odoo. We came late to the Shopify because it's a SaaS-based company. So SaaS is kind of, we are very open source enthusiastic. So that's why we came late at the Shopify. So in 2015, when we came at Shopify, we launched our marketplace plugin. At that time, we are not big player on Shopify. There is a company called Bold Commerce. It's a Canadian company. It's the biggest player at the Shopify App Store. And when we launch our marketplace, it's at the cost of $45 per month for 20 and 30 sellers, and then we put some per seller prices. Immediately after our launch, within few months, Bold Commerce launched their own multi-vendor marketplace with $45 or $49 with an unlimited seller and with 3 to 6 months of free plans. So at that, it's a Canadian company. So at that time, we need to make a choice that what we are going to do. So we decided that no, we are not going to with the cheap alternative. We cannot give a 3 to 6 months of free trial. We have 1 month free trial is sufficient enough for trying any product. And because they are older player, they do have other plugins to support their free trial period. But we have only one plugin at that time, the multi-vendor marketplace. So we can know it is not justifiable to give 3 to 6 months because we are not able to improve them. Then we decided we will fight on the quality, and we knew because we have the experience in the multi-vendor marketplace, Bold Commerce will have to catch up with our speed and our quality. And ultimately, we decided with, okay, we'll keep the same price, equal $49 unlimited seller. And we fought that battle, and within 6 to 9 months, Bold Commerce stopped that service. They dropped the multi-vendor marketplace platform because they knew they are not going to survive with our agility, with the features, with our expertise. So that exactly happened. So I complete Webkul story, and even today, we never pitch ourselves as a cheap alternative. And especially in the software services, many times people think, even many experts think that software service industry is running because we are cheaper than US. But it is not true in the today context. It may be true 10 years later, 10 years before, but today it is not true. Whatever we are able to do in the software industry is because we have a very great talent pool and very unique products, this kind of thing, and that's why we are surviving. So we need to think like that. We need to make a promise with ourselves that we are not project ourselves as a cheaper alternative. So that is the main point I want to convey. The other last point I want to convey is many times, when especially the small player, when think about the export, they think, oh, it's very difficult. You need to find a very big buyer at 4Cs. How I'm going to find a buyer? But in the today world, using the e-commerce and lot of even the Amazon.com, I hope. I think because we have a representative from Amazon team, so they will explain into more detail about it. But Amazon.com is a very good platform. Similarly, there are other e-commerce sites also for doing export. Even right now, a very single person can do export if we have the ability to figure out the gap, the product gap, the pricing, the SEO. If they are able to figure out this thing, a single person can do export. It is not required any big infrastructure. So I like to stop myself here, and thanks for all. Thank you.